Let's discuss Ielts reading passage 1, and as you see the passage is labeled. When passage is labeled as A, B, C and D, it means type 2 questions are given. Type 2 questions which are not in order. In this passage, all the questions are not in order. So let's start from question 1. First of all, you have to mark keywords in list of headings and you have to keep in your mind. While reading passage, those words will click in your mind. For example, let's read first heading. Diverse drinking method. Underline diverse drinking methods. You have to keep in mind this. Limited objections. Number 2 means the main keyword in second option is objections to drinking tea. Number 3, tradition in Britain and China. Number 4, hospitality and addition tea with milk. This is important, tea with milk. Tea and alcohol. Everyday beverage in all parts of the world. Tea on move, African tea, fall in the cost of tea. Whenever we look at the passages, so we will find the word cost of tea, we will mark 10 in front of that passage. The value of tea and tea drinking in Africa and hospitality among Bedouin. Bedouin mean nomadic way of life. Some people spend their life from moving from one place to another. Let's read first passage. The chances are that you have already drunk a cup or glass of tea today. Perhaps you are sipping one as you read this. Tea now an everyday beverage in many parts of the world. Did anything click in your mind? What will be the answer? What we will write in front of paragraph 1. If you look at reading 7, the everyday beverage in all parts of the world. So we will write 7 in front of para A. Para B, let's read para B. Tea originated in China and in Eastern Asia. Tea making and drinking ceremonies have been popular for centuries. Tea was first shipped to northwestern Europe by English and Dutch maritime traders in 16th century, and a land route from the Far East via Moscow to Europe. So, what do you conclude from this? Tea is moving from one place to another place. So, what we will write in front of passage B? 8 will be the right option. Tea on the move, because it's moving from one place to another place. Let's read passage 3. As over the last... Why? No. It's 13. Let's read instructions. Question 1 to 8. Choose most suitable. One of the headings has been done for you as an example. There are more headings than paragraphs, so you will not use all of them. See, as over the last 400 years, tea leaves became available throughout much of Asia and Europe. The ways in which tea was drunk changed. He mentions that how tea was drunk changed. It means drinking method. Have we read somewhere drinking methods? Diverse drinking method. Alpha is the right option. This is the keyword. So you have to keep in mind all the keywords. Diverse drinking method, we will write 1 in front of passage C. Let's move on to the passage D, paragraph D. Let's read. While European coffee houses were frequented by men discussing politics and closing business deals, respectable middle-class women stayed at home and held tea parties. When the price of the tea fell in the 19th century, poor people took up the drink with enthusiasm. He mentions the price of the tea fell. What would be the answer? Yes, the fall in the cost of tea. we will write 10 in front of D. This will be our right answer. You have marked the price of the tea. You see, this is very easy if you keep in mind the main keywords of all the headings. Let's move on to the next passage, and that is para E. Let's read para E. Throughout the world today, few religious groups object to tea drinking in Islamic cultures. Here he mentions objections. If any heading contains objections, that will be our answer. If more than one heading contains objections, then we will further read the passage. If there is only one heading that contains objections, then we won't need to read the whole passage. Limited objections to tea drinking. We will write 2 in front of para E. Two types of objections are given, like first of all, few religious groups object to tea drinking in Islamic cultures where drinking of alcohol is forbidden. Tea and coffee consumption is an important part of social life. So they mentions how did people object to the tea drinking at first. So we will write 2 in front of paragraph E, and for your E's, paragraph F has already been solved by the examiner, and its answer is 13. Hospitality among the Bedouin. So we won't read passage F. Let's move on to the next passage, and that is passage G. For over 1,000 years, Arab traders have been bringing Islamic culture, including tea drinking, to Northern and Western Africa. Northern and Western Africa. Techniques of tea preparation and the ceremonial involved have been fashionable for young men to gather in small groups to brew Chinese gunpowder tea. The tea is boiled with large amounts of sugar for a long time. Let's read readings. Yes, 12 will be the right option. Tea drinking in Africa, because only Africa is mentioned in this passage. So we will write 12 in front of G, paragraph G. Let's read paragraph H. The tea drinking in India remains an important part of daily life. The tea made entirely with milk. So he mentions milk. So we are going to talk about how milk is added to the tea at first. So chai is made by boiling milk and adding tea, sugar and some spices. This form of tea making has crossed the Indian Ocean and is also popular in East Africa, where tea is considered best when it is either very milky or made with water only. What we will write in front of para H? We will write tea, a beverage of hospitality, an important addition, tea with milk. Next, para I. Last passage. Yes, okay. Para I, let's read. In Britain, coffee drinking, particularly in the informal atmosphere of coffee shops, is currently in vogue. In vogue mean in fashion. Yet the convention mean tradition, of afternoon tea lingers. Lingers means still persists. At conference, it remains common practice to serve coffee in the morning and tea in the afternoon. Contemporary China too remains true to its long tradition. Two countries are mentioned, Britain and China. So let's find a heading in which both the countries are mentioned. Option 3, today's continuing tradition in Britain and China, and today means contemporary China. Contemporary mean today's, modern. We will write 3 in front of 8. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 9 to 14. Complete the sentence below. Use no more than 3 words from the passage to complete each blank space. This is very important. Students usually skip the instructions and they write more than 3 words, and sometimes 1 word only is given and they write more than 1 words. These questions will be in order or not in order? Fill in the blanks are always in order. Okay, let's read question number 9. For centuries, both at home and in society, tea has had an important role in dash. Let's read passage 1. No, important role in dash. Let's read hospitality. If you read para 1 line 2, tea, now an everyday beverage in many parts of the world, has over the centuries been an important part of rituals of hospitality, both in home and in wider society. So you can write hospitality or rituals of hospitality, because you are allowed to write 3 words. So both the answers will be correct. Next question, question number 10. Falling tea prices. Falling tea prices in the 19th century meant that people could choose the dash of tea they could afford. If we find the synonym of afford, we will be able to answer quickly. Let's read passage D, because we have already read about cost in passage D when we were solving list of headings. When the tea price fell in the 19th century, poor people took up drinking with enthusiasm. Different grades and blends of tea were sold to suit every pocket. Every pocket means they could afford. So we can write grades, blends are different blends. If you write blends, if you write grades, or if you write different grades or different blends, all will be right options. Question 11. Because it dash Seventh day Adventists do not approve of the drinking of tea. Let's see what it contains and why they. Yes? Para E, last line. Let's read para E, last line. However, Seventh day Adventists, recognizing the beverage as a drug containing stimulant, caffeine, frown up the drinking. Frown up means disapprove, dislike. So we will write it contains caffeine. Let's read 12. Question number 12. In the desert, one group that is well known for its tradition of hospitality is the dash. Let's read para F. Nomadic Bedouin are well known for the tradition of hospitality in the desert. The first line of passage F is your answer. What we will write in fill in the blank in passage F? Bedouin or nomadic Bedouin? Both will be right options. Number 13. In India, dash as well as tea are added to boiling milk to make chai. We have already solved it while doing matching the heading questions. Let's read para H. Let's read tea remains an important part of daily life. The tea made with milk. Chai is made by boiling milk and adding tea, sugar and some spices. This is our answer. We can write in India, sugar and spices as well as tea are added. Tea has already been given, has already mentioned. So we will write sugar and spices to boiling milk to make chai. Last question. In Britain, while coffee is in fashion, afternoon tea is still a dash. Let's read para I, line 2. At conferences, it remains common practice to serve coffee in the morning and tea in the afternoon. In contemporary China, too, remains true to its long tradition. In Britain, coffee drinking, particularly in the informal atmosphere of coffee shops, is currently in vogue. Yet the convention of afternoon tea lingers. So what we will write in passage D? Lingering convention or a convention? We can write both. In Britain, while coffee is a fashion, afternoon tea is still a convention or lingering convention. You can say that it remains a common practice to serve coffee in the morning and tea in the afternoon. So it's a convention, it's a routine. This is all about passage 1.